Hey guys, I'm in a certain place to vent, pre-recorded. Um, so huh, I just got a very honest and tough answer from an anonymous person that I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and had to tell me something important that he felt about me on his mind, and and he was right. He is right. And what we talked about is not as important as my feelings on the matter, as they may change me and thus also change the nature of what I do by and large moving forward. Right? If my goals are not in the primary to be something of a success in my own name on the internet, then I shouldn't be uh, doing a whole bunch of things anymore, right? And my feelings on things have changed dramatically. My interests in doing stuff. I don't know if I'm just living in a world where it's rude to ask certain people to work with you, right? Because you're missing a cue that you're not anything worth it to someone else. And so, like what I'm learning with Heidegger, I need to step into my world, right? And so people can step into my world or follow me as I step into this other world that I belong to, right? And the hardest part is for me to stop with the hunger for that involvement. That's the hardest part because there's a part of me that kind of wants to be famous. But I mean, like, what is fame? I mean, it's not so much about fame. It's that it's just like me and my product in the market. I want to, you have to be out there in the world. You have to have, perhaps it's a different kind of fame, right? Because it's a knowing and an excitement to see the presentation of a person doing their with their thing, whatever it is. You're an inventor and you perform the demonstration of your invention, whatever. And I grew up with all of the wrong uh, challenges to figure any of this stuff out in my childhood. And it's one of those things where if you know that a whole bunch of people think that your reasoning for why you don't do certain things, why you do certain things, or perhaps petty, of ill judgment, part of the conceived, you know, problems with people. An obvious thing is my indulgence of cannabis, which seems like it's a big problem because I love to do it while I'm live streaming because I like to be in a high and in a good vibing flow state, which keeps me from having a complete lockup of my mind if I'm jumping into something that isn't going to be too strictly regimented. When I was doing my show in Revolution Radio, um, when I didn't have guests on, I was grabbing articles left and right and reading them and commenting on them. Which is what led me to wanting to do readings. Just like reading Heidegger, and I've read other books. Most of that is saved on Odyssey, some of it on BitChute, as I've always said. Um, but I do by and large kind of get sick of promoting myself. I get really sick of it because if people were real with me, they'd be dying to take this person that they like so much and be like, Steve, we want to help you get better. Because I look around and when I see like where somebody could do something better, I got a suggestion. But hey, nobody wants a suggestion from the guy. It's just like I thought that because maybe that's just one of the. It's just like it doesn't work that way. You got to go figure it all out for yourself. Literally all of it, every little step. How to tie your shoelaces. No. Well, who needs your parents or a teacher or an instructor to show? No, just look at them and fiddle with your fingers for a while. That's how I learned it, kid. That's kind of how life feels. It feels like you're being forced to just fucking like to even know where to look up how to do a thing and then be able to invest the time in it, and then you're looking at everything else, and then you start realizing you don't know how money works very well, and so this is the stuff that people think that they mean when they believe that they are slaves, right? I don't believe I'm a slave. I know that I'm fucking ignorant. I'm obviously ignorant. Otherwise, I would have figured out how to do all this shit within the system, like many other people that get the mindset and the attitude change. And if I'm not dedicated to the change within, then the change on the outside isn't going to matter one fucking iota. Because nobody wants to love the prettiest bum at the homeless shelter. You know what I mean? And it just feels like there isn't enough time to be not working on yourself. To just, like I haven't sat down and just watched a movie, but I mean like no, I have, but I mean like be nice if like it's not like I watch a movie every week or something, right? I sit down, like fucking listen to podcasts that educate me. And then I try to make time for the ones that entertain me that are also educational. And also I'm trying to be supportive of friends that I think I have that I have a hard time believing that I have. Is what it is. Um, And this is, and the internet is both interesting as a place where I can make a choice to do something like make this video or not. And what does a fucking journaling be of value to anybody doing YouTube? Whatever. It's like I'm not winning any friends with the ugly music that I play that I think is beautiful. Not a whole lot of people wanna grab on, right? And obviously they don't. Obviously they don't. Look at this raw, quiet, slow production, this slow speaking that I am doing, and droning on about my personal issues in juxtaposition to my presentation of things on YouTube, and believing that maybe I can sell my vulnerability. Is that narcissism? Because maybe I'm doing this because I felt like I heard somebody else talk about things like this, but they didn't share that part, and I didn't make the connection and didn't know what to do with it, whether it really applied to me. And then that's why I share this shit. Sometimes, I come on and I'm just putting on the Warriors front, like, oh, you know, and talking about all of my judgments while I'm driving to my fucking 30-hour a week fucking job in my piece of shit car, in my whatever, life, like I have a fucking, uh, you know, right to be so. I mean, on the divine law level, yeah, you do. Um, but you also need to play with the feedback of the world, because it's the height of arrogance to think that just because um, they're not like even awake or whatever, that they aren't seeing something that fucking counts, especially if it's in your unconscious. And of course, what can be really hard about that is that the unconscious, it's also often kind of a more scary thing. It becomes rude to speak in such a way. You can get someone emotionally triggered. I mean, once in a while I get emotionally triggered off of something that's a tangent that leads to a similar implication as the real issue. I had a spat with somebody at work a couple weeks ago. Got very angry because I felt like my the that my value to the company was being threatened, and thus it was just like thinking about giving me less hours or something like that, and and that no one's seeing what I'm trying to do, or maybe giving me shit because I'm not Mister 5 minutes early kind of guy, and then acting like because I'm not striving for management that like I don't value being there. This boiled me to no fucking end, especially because it had nothing to do with the question I asked. It was a passive aggressive remark that I didn't appreciate. Unlike the person who has brought about all these emotions that I'm vlogging to process, who it was directly relevant to the question. And it was a very full and robust answer that I appreciated. That was hard to hear because it had to put my ego in its place. But it was coming from a place of being very constructive with everything that was said. And so I listened carefully and said to myself, there's a right reaction to this. That isn't even a question for me. I just don't know if I just need to react to that to myself or to tell them that. But I told them that. I reciprocated my thanks for all of that, and I spoke some other words that are private. Um, and I don't know. I just thought that radiating pure awesomeness and showing off my intelligence was enough to uh, win a certain level that I wanted to be at for a while on YouTube. But I had to I had to I had to test I had to taunt the censors in 2022 and lost the channel that I had built to a little over 700 subs over a long, long period of time. Many years. A channel that you could like watch me losing the weight and all that fun stuff. But I kind of still want to try to do that. I think it's easier for me to just realize focus on your world and try not to feel like it's about you not belonging in that other world. And that's okay that I don't belong there. Um, I was hoping that I did, but it might be that I technically do, but I still have behavioral problems. That is perfectly fine at a powwow, but not for somebody who is trying to do a presentation. Anyway, um, because I don't know, something just fits right with this being what I do with YouTube. The things that I've been doing with YouTube that I do by myself. I really need somebody to want me um, at this point moving forward. I'm because I can tell that nobody wants what I have to offer. My platform is shit, and I accept that. But I want to have fun exploring it. Maybe I'm just practicing and I'm just asking for feedback. And maybe that's all I need because I can sustain myself while I keep uh, looking for more therapeutic answers to break me out of my box. Because obviously, I deal with a great amount of dissatisfaction because I am more ambitious than where I'm at, and I'm letting that get so ahead of me that then it also screws me up with everything else. It becomes very, very difficult for me to be all right around people. It's like, because how many times can you tell your friends, nah, that's a bit steep for me, because you don't want to sit there and be the guy who says like, man, I would need gas money to do that, right? You got to miss out. You end up having to miss out, and you miss out enough. It's like you're not putting the effort in for all of that, right? When I was a kid, I liked hanging out. I didn't like saying like, "Oh man, we don't have to go spend. Let's go hang out at a park. I just want to hang out with my friends or whatever." And some of my friends didn't want to just go hang out at a park. They want to go do something, spend a little bit of cheddar. Something fun was going on. There was a good movie out, and I was already living with a tremendous amount of terrible mistakes that are built upon terrible mistakes, and That's why when I say there are no victims, there are only fools, I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about myself first and foremost. And it's interesting thinking about what it means to have agency, right? Because the more I think about it, on top of not beating myself up and not blaming others at the same time, you just cut away at everything that you can look and think about. There was a specific age where I think I kind of knew and lied to myself right there that I could keep acting like a child for a few more years. And problem is that that's a lot of people in this generation that have no self-reflection like that, and we saw all of that spew out, right? And I saw that, and I was just like, oh my god, this is what um, these people just a smidge younger than me are like, and this is what some of the people that are as old as me are like. What? And that made me think about who I wanted to associate with for a good long time, as everybody was getting into these tighter and tighter ideological spaces. And when I have my shit together in the real world, none of this stuff of embarrassment matters if I'm crushing it in the real world. You know? If I get up and I go to work 8 to 5 and I'm doing the complete opposite of what this is, I'm in the midst of the tasks and the manual labor and the working in the weather and deliveries and a rudimentary knowledge of plants, and it's a whole lot of stuff that you just start accumulating and getting a knack for over a year or two. And at the same time, I don't want to work 5 days a week all year. Just because I want to have the availability for the ambitions, because if I don't feed those, I get crushed and I die. And I gotta stop um, taking from other people's plates. And I've known that for a long time, but at the same time, it's just like you're also not doing any more than anybody else is doing. But the problem is, Steve, is that you're too selfish. It's too much about you. And it's not that I don't mean to be, it's that I can forget how that is just the fucking rudest thing. I literally don't realize how fucking rude it is. Maybe I just suffer from a lack of love or whatever. I mean, look, it was like I like talking to people that believe in astropsychology. So that way, at the very least, I get a little bit of a break by explaining where my Leo is, or whatever, or what's going on in my Leo. But astropsychology is about transcending astropsychology. Also, all astrology is about transcending astrology. It's about getting to the point where you've already figured out how all your modus operandis work. That's it. You're using astrology just to figure out the modus operandi of your mind. That's all it is. That's all it is. So that way you can be a little bit more at peace with yourself and build and deal with whatever, right? It's a strange feeling. It's a strange feeling. And in a place where I'm gonna go in opposite direction. The opposite direction. Um, when I'm done with the Heidegger book, so that's gonna be a lot. I'll see how I feel about whatever the future of my social media presence is going to be. Right? How do I use this channel? I might sleep on this tonight and have a completely different feelings and attitudes about it in the morning. Um, but there's a lot of things I just don't want to do if those are the things that are necessary to succeed. Putting a shirt on is necessary to succeed on YouTube. After all the shit I've seen be the stupidest things people succeed at YouTube with, then I don't want anything to do with it. I know, it's so fucking vain. But, I don't know, it's kind of fun. Inventing this person that I am. And letting this be this window into this person. And is it special? Is it eccentric? Does the opportunity eventually rise where I actually do something superhuman? I don't know. I don't know. But, I suppose my life would be better if I stopped shouting myself out like a gangster rapper. Stop, shouting other people out like a gangster rapper. Um, you know, I I do actually I seem to have a collaboration in the works, but we're still ironing out a very complicated situation. And so that could completely change my feelings and attitude on this. I don't know. But like, these guys seem to have known me for a long time. They want to work with me. I mean, I hope that they know that I'm difficult, because I'm difficult. And I kind of hate being difficult, but I love myself too much to take big immediate steps, because I'd rather kind of like internally kind of work something out, and then magically it just stops. The pattern of behavior just eventually stops. It gets there. Just look at what I did to myself at 41 years old. Look at what I did to myself back then. I ended a lot of bad behaviors, and maybe it doesn't get you any fucking fans and success and fame, but I at least know a handful of you people are rooting for me, which is why I make this video. I just never want to become petty. I just never want to become petty. And if I keep being authentic, I shouldn't ever become petty. which is why there's plenty of people whom I could say one way or the other about all sorts of different things over the last many years that I've either spoken my piece because it was important and moved on, or I've said nothing at all. Only references. Even with this, which is with somebody whom there's no actual problem other than me and knowing, understanding, even agreeing without any conflict. And just at least giving myself training in a good attitude over that. Otherwise, it's just like I'm almost more comfortable around people that I can't open up to. It's just like you're not initiated. I can't like. Well, we can make some small talk about football, I guess. I'll listen to you and ask questions or something because football's I don't care. But you're an okay guy, and I'm just not interested at the moment in explaining, why I've, read a bunch of Aleister Crowley or something, right? It's all of us in occult land, we get that. We really, really get that. Um, I have to make. I have to see if I have certain choices I need to make. So anyway, this is maybe getting repetitive. So all right, have a good night, and I'll see you soon. Channel's not going away or nothing. This is just the atypical raw Zeralath that you expect. Catch you later.